Good evening, everyone. This is day 79. We're almost at 80%, which means we're almost Pareto done. But not today. Today it's day 79 of 100 days of code, and we are going to talk about React effects, and who better to walk us through this topic than the man, the myth, the legend, Andersen. How are you doing?
Hello. Doing great when I'm close to code. Today I went through the React effects section. Was a shorter section, but still quite. And I just realized that I skipped the validation videos, which were part of the past section, which we will then like writing our own validations for forms in React, which we will how do we say it, redo. No, it doesn't matter, which we'll do tomorrow then.
I mean, we will come across that topic a lot, and I think you explained manual validation anyways, and the form validation with React help forms and stuff like that will come up again.
Yeah, we will see. I'll look through the videos tomorrow and see if there's anything interesting, and then that. Let me check 1 second for the words. To catch up on. Yeah, to catch up on. It's good to catch up on that. But yeah, we will see if we'll catch up on form validations. So today we go into React effects, and at first I thought that effects would be like CSS styling kind of stuff, like transitions and stuff. And yeah, you could use stylings on effects, but it's something different. So one specific use case would be if you want to render something from an API, if you want to fetch something from an API, but only want to fetch it once at the beginning of loading the site. So I don't know exactly which component is most interesting to get into first. Probably, yeah, let's go into the counter first. I think they are ordered, right? So basically what we see here is the basic counter. If you scroll down, not sure if he actually renders a button. Yeah, the usual thing, button. And we're handling the change. Is there a form? There's a form as well, or I can't see it because our windows are in front of it. Oh yeah, exactly. So there's a value or an input as well, and the input routes to name. So yeah, the basically the how was it called again? The React form setup that we talked about yesterday as well. And the new thing is the use effect in line 7, which we also have to import. We import it by just writing it into the same curly brackets. As far as I understand it, if we want to import anything from React, we can just add it to that curly bracket and import all of them at once, basically. And yeah, so in this case, the use case is not really, it's not about the use about just the raw mechanics of it, so or the syntax of it. So we can wait. What is calling the use effect? Is use effect a function, or is it a method, or
Use effect is a function, yes, and
okay.
Specifically in the context of React, it's a hook.
Okay, I don't know the difference between a hook and a function yet. I guess it's something that's like a yeah, like a basic element of React that's that has that is a very foundational part of React, a bit like maybe a bit like classes are in JavaScript. I don't know, but like a bit more. Yeah, how would you describe it? What's the hook? Did I direct?
So I would say hooks are functions that you can use inside of React function components to make the component smarter, so to say, to give it additional abilities. For example, the ability of state management, or here in the case of use effect, the possibility to do something when something changes.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So maybe just to regurgitate it, to practice talking about it. It's a function that we can apply inside of React functions or component functions to give them more capabilities. For example, use state capability and use effect capability.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So can you scroll down again to see, let me check run time. Okay, so as we can see, nothing here explicitly triggers the use effect hook. So basically, this means that the hook gets just executed on its own when we or rendered on its own, depending on its content, as soon as the component is mounted. And so if you scroll up again to the use effect, we can see that we can put inside of the use effect a callback function, and after the function we have this square bracket, and this, I would say, the most important like lesson of this one of this component is that only when we press count. Oh yeah, I mean, through this actually the use effect gets triggered. That's right. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Maybe one could say it's always there waiting, but it only gets yeah, I don't know. But once we press count, the effect gets executed. So it's a bit like a conditional, an additional conditional that we can set to get more layers of logic. That's how I would describe my understanding so far. And so in this case, anytime that we press the increment button, the console.log went off. Not a useful component so far, but if we go to the component that's after that in the app.js, the quote fetcher, here we basically fetch quotes from a quote API, and we if you scroll down, to the return, down, we can see that we basically just render a button that fetches the quote and the quote and the author, and this is basically done with an async function because we have to await from the response from the API, and we want the quote to be fetched. Can you scroll up again, please? We want it to be. We can't put it inside of the use state because use state can't handle async functions. So instead, we write it inside of the use effect, but use effect directly can't handle async function either. So we have to wrap it inside of a non-async function, and then it works. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm seeing that I explained the trigger in the component before, but I didn't explain the other capabilities. So here we see for example, in line 19, we see the empty square brackets. This means that only on the first render or on the first mount, I don't know, the effect gets triggered. So basically, yeah. Can you scroll down to see what the button triggers? Further. I can't see anything. Fetch quote. Okay. So how? I mean, yeah, basically we use even after the first render, we can still fetch new quotes, which are then not coming through the use effect. But we want that first render because we don't want to start with an empty. We want a quote as content there when we render first. So that's why we built the use effect, and you can put multiple dependencies or conditionals in the square brackets in line 19, for example, as well. So you could say that on mouse over or whatever we can also build in there. We can trigger that as well, but in this case we just use the empty square brackets. Not sure if I forgot any other variation one can do with the square brackets. Is there anything else one can do with it?
No, it's just leave them out completely. Then the use effect runs every time the component re-renders. There's leaving them empty, which makes it so that the use effect run on mount and on dismount, which we have to put a huge asterisk on because technically that's false. But for the purposes of the next few weeks, that is the way that the empty brackets work. And then they're putting something in the empty bracket, which means the use effect only updates when any of the values of the dependency array change.
Okay, yeah, then so I basically forgot the variation where you leave out the square brackets, which you already explained now, which is that it renders each time there's any change on the page, or each time that
So the effect runs whenever the component re-renders.
Yeah, which could be because of any kind of Yeah, on click, mouse over, or whatever kind of thing. But it's not the same as re-rendering by refreshing the page, right? If we refresh the page, we get an initial re-render as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So there we have it, wrapped inside of a non-async function. And yeah, let's look into the next component, the quote fetcher loader. Basically here, can you move the our avatar squares or rectangles somewhere else? Oh yeah, that's perfect. Or maybe is it possible on the right side, because we don't have any. I mean, it's good this way because now the text is more in the middle. I guess this way is the best. So this is basically the same component as before, but we wanted to, or code wanted to demonstrate that we can use the use effect to not to trigger, but to deactivate other components or other parts of a component. So we have the class name loader, and this renders every time. So this means it renders before the async function, because it's just a static component that doesn't need any awaiting or anything like that. It's not dependent on the fetching. So basically, this is emulating or representing the usual loading label that we used to see back in the days when the internet was still slow. And maybe we see sometimes nowadays if the data is still too big for our internet speed. And in line 14, we see that it basically gets deactivated to as soon as the async function has been fetched. And yeah, this is basically the way one could build something like that. And yeah, the implementation here is with some styling, that the opacity basically gets faded out. We can see that in the app CSS. It doesn't matter, but we can see that the opacity is also has a ternary condition, a ternary operator on it, that if it's loading true, then we basically get full opacity, and if it's not, then we get zero opacity. And in between that, we have a transition effect in the style sheet that makes a fade out basically of the opacity between 1 and 0 as soon as the loading label, the loader, gets disabled. Why does it get disabled? Because we're basically saying where set is loading, we just set it to false as soon as we rendered as soon as we fetched the set quote, the random quote. I'm wondering though, is inside of this async function, is this really dependent on the order? Like, would there be a difference if we switch line 13 and 14 in order, or wouldn't that matter?
There's a minimal chance that it matters, but in virtually all cases it doesn't matter.
Okay, so I mean, if we want, like, if we have really slow internet, wouldn't it make a difference between this order and switching line 13 and 14 as well?
It more depends on the speed of your machine and when React decides to update the state, just like we had covered it when we looked at the updater functions.
Okay. But how does React know that, or how do we know that React sets the is loading to false only as soon as the async function, as soon as the fetching was done?
Because of the await keyword.
Okay, so okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I just had this had these middleware things in mind where, I don't know, there was some edge cases where we triggered something before something else was done. But yeah, I guess with the await, we make sure that yeah, the is loading gets only set to false as soon as the loading is done. And yeah, this is also all of this is done with use effect because we can't, I don't know, is the main reason for use effect because we can't use async functions inside of use state, or is there any other reason for that?
We were going to look into this in depth, but this way that you're seeing right here, and that Cole teaches you first, and that most people learn how to use effect with first, is actually complete mistreatment of use effect. You shouldn't use it to fetch data. But it's just the most easy example for everyone. That's why everyone teaches this. Use effect is usually used for completely different stuff. So a better use case for use effect is to hook up, for example, listeners that listen to things. This could be a WebSocket. This could be listening to document methods. So basically, use effect should usually be used whenever you want to subscribe and unsubscribe to certain things.
Or stuff like liking and that as well? Liking a
If
post?
the liking is implemented through WebSocket, then maybe, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea what a WebSocket is yet, so but I'm pretty sure we will learn that. Sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
but it's totally fine that you learn use effect this way, because there's a high likelihood that even though we were going to try to avoid the stuff in your own code bases that you build from scratch, there's a high likelihood that maybe someday on the job you will see this pattern. So it's very important that you know this, but it's also to already know and then have in the back of your mind that this is not the way to do it. And we will definitely look at the correct ways to where to use effect correctly, and the correct ways to fetch data when something loads.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I had I had mixed feelings about wrapping the async function inside of a normal like a non-async function. To me, it sounded a bit weird. But yeah, that's it for. I mean, I can explain the last component as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. If you go to the render down, turn, we see that we render a form. What's B? The break? No.
Big.
What?
The big BIG.
Okay, I don't remember any component like that. I only know BR, which is like the line, some line that strikes through, right?
Yeah, BR is line break, and the B is big. Basically, as if you make the font weight really high.
So it's a big paragraph.
Yeah, it's or bold. Is maybe probably bold is the correct way. So it's bold text.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a text basically. Text HTML element, and this text displays the name that we searched for, that we got from the search form, and also we're rendering an image which we also got from our search results, and we also built a loader there in line 29. Not going into the details on this one. The function, yeah, I mean, let's just look at the use, how's it called, use effect. If you scroll a bit up, we're also seeing that he used it for fetching stuff again, even though that's wrong. Yeah, it only gets triggered as soon as we are searching for username. Wait, can you scroll down again to where username is triggered? Profile search. So yeah, the search triggers basically. Wait, what is username then? Can you scroll up? Username. Oh, username is the state. So every time the state changes, we fetch something new. Yeah, which is basically a form. That it's the function search is basically nothing else than an on-change handler, right? Or
Search is the change handler, yes.
okay, yeah. Yeah, so first time code didn't call it change handler in the course. It's a bit confusing. So yeah, and basically just same thing as we already had before, just with some different kind of content inside. That's it for today.
Awesome. I don't have anything to add. This was great. Or maybe one fun fact. So the newest version of React, to discourage this anti-pattern here, what it actually does is it mounts the React component, then unmounts it and mounts it again. So that all the apps that use this pattern fetch twice. That's just a fun fact.
Okay, so is there any disadvantage one gets from fetching twice? Maybe
Yeah, more load
higher
on your
higher
servers.
API costs?
Yeah, stuff like that, exactly.
Got it.
Also potentially bugs, hopefully.
I just had the thought, I'm wait, what was my thought? Basically, a thought of being excited about knowing stuff about computers, and I'm like, yeah, I'm learning I'm learning coding. Like, Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome. Fun stuff. And I'm very curious about what use it's used for.
So
But
what are you curious about?
what use effect is actually used for.
Got it. Yeah.
But I can be patient until then.
See, I wanted to find something, but I cannot find it. Well, with no, maybe for next time. I think that's it. So, just also a little announcement for you because I know that you are coming close on the end of the course. So, if I find the time before our stream tomorrow, I want to prepare a little roadmap, so we can brainstorm together how you want to go from there. I have some suggestions, obviously, but it's your journey, so you get to decide too.
Can you repeat the exercise or the task? I didn't really get what I should do.
You don't need to do anything. Tomorrow we're going to work on the roadmap for you after
roadmap.
you finished the course.
Got it. Yeah, we'll see if I'll finish the course tomorrow. Maybe, yeah, should possible.
No pressure, but I think it makes sense to be a little early with the preparation so that you're not blocked once you finish it, so that you can just keep going.
So you mean that I can keep going, what, like on the same day, or what? Which
Yeah,
kind of?
let's say you finish it
Okay.
very early in the morning, but we don't
Got it.
stream in the afternoon. You don't want to be sit around twiddling your thumbs.
Got it. Yeah, no, I have to work tomorrow and have some traveling to do. So
Yeah, I mean,
guess
even if you finish the course in 3 days, doesn't matter. I think it only makes sense already to have that sorted out for you.
yeah, I would say, like, wait, but if I finish it tomorrow, and after the code call, we will build the roadmap after the code call anyway, right?
So I think it's fun to build some of the stuff on stream so that people
Yes,
can see your
exactly.
thinking.
Exactly. Yeah, that sounds great. So I mean, if I've finished the course, then after the code call, it's probably no time left in the day. So, but it's
Yes, but there's a chance that you finish the course right completely outside of the code call, and that's just I want to make sure that you still keep your keep
got
wind in
it.
your sails and can keep going.
Okay,
Maybe I
got it.
explained myself badly, but I hope it not came
No,
across.
no worries. No worries. Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure it will fit perfectly tomorrow, and then I'll start the day after tomorrow with a new roadmap. That's my feeling.
Was cool.
Yeah,
Man,
looking forward. Thank you.
Yeah, this has been day 79 of 100 days of code. And tune in tomorrow to see how whatever we do, it's going to be exciting stuff. I know there will be material UI involved, so some proper styling again. Yeah, any last words, thoughts, epiphanies that you want to share?
Always be mounting. Always. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, so this has been day 79 of 100 days of code with
Leon Andersen, sure.
Adam Mill from 10x Dev. Yeah, always be spreading, always be mounting, always fetch stuff in use effects when you're young, and then later
And
stop that.
always copy erase when you're working with updating the state.
Exactly. So A, C.
B.
A, B, C. Always be copying data. A, B, C, D. W. W, A,